Welcome back to 123 Geek, and this is my review on the Collection of Mana series for the Nintendo Switch. So, let's get started. Thank you so much for stopping by 123 Geek, and this is my review on the Collection of Mana series for the Nintendo Switch that just released. So, I'm actually a big fan of the Collection of Mana series, and actually the first three are my all-time favorite versions of the game. So, to get, my feet kind of wet into this conversation, I want to state that there are more than these three games. However, these are the first three in the series. That is the Final Fantasy Adventure, that is Secret of Mana, and that is Trials of Mana. Now, these are the three games that I think of when I think of the Mana series, and I think that's exactly why Square Enix re-released this particular collection. Now, I could be wrong. They could be coming out with more games here in the near future, but in my opinion, these are the best ones. The most recent ones, for whatever reason, they decided to take the same path as a lot of other companies right now, wanting to switch gears and go with the mobile market, which in my opinion is not the best way to go, but anyways, that's a different story for a different time. Nonetheless, so with the Collection of Mana series, I want to start with the controls. The controls are great. I really like the way it works, very much like an emulator, where if you press select, it will actually, it brings up the standard save and all that stuff. And if you hit X, it brings up the menu, in-game menu and everything, just like most RPGs. But if you press the Z or ZL button, it will actually bring up an emulator screen where it gives you a bunch of different options. So that's pretty cool. It gives you the option to create a save state, a load, and to load that save state, as well as several other options on top of that. So that's one thing that's really neat. The other thing is that if you press the ZR button, it actually gives you the ability to change the way that the picture looks. Now, you get a couple of options here, mainly for the Game Boy version, which would be the Final Fantasy Adventure. Now, what it does is it's very similar to the way that the Super Game Boy used to work on the Super Nintendo or the Super Famicom. And what that does is it changes the look. It has a background to it, and in that background you have like art and different stuff like that, and that's basically what they do for all three of these games. But with the Game Boy game, this Final Fantasy Adventure game, it allows you to toggle through several different looks. So you got like the monochrome, you got like the original green and black, which is for the Game Boy, and you kind of have like a sepia looking kind, which is a little bit more colorful, I guess that's a way to put it. But it also, you will make it full screen. It will make it, or not full screen, but it will give you a decent like aspect ratio, kind of like the old systems. Or it will put it into a tiny little box with a little border on it, which is kind of nice as well. So moving on to the other ones, there are some added things, nothing too exciting, but some of the added they have a little things that kind of pop up. For instance, in the Secret of Mana, when you first launch the game, it actually shows like these storks, these pink storks taking off, and it's kind of nice. It's a nice little, nice little feeling. And the thing is that you actually select, you're first welcomed with the selection screen of these individual games. And each game has the music that comes from that game. So, both of these games or all three of these games are on the Nintendo system. So, the Final Fantasy Adventure is actually from the Nintendo Game Boy. And then you have the Secret of Mana, which is from the Super Nintendo, Super Famicom. And you have the Trials of Mana, which is from Super Nintendo or Super Famicom. There are more games that are out there. I understand that. But like I said, these are my favorite which is what led me to buy this system, or this game. And the thing is that they all look great. I mean, they look, I wouldn't call them remastered. Some may say they're remastered. It's more like bringing a collection together. And, I mean, the graphics aren't redone, and they're not, like, higher quality textures, or they didn't up-convert it. But they gave it where it's workable on a TV, and they're a little bit sharper, a little bit cleaner. So I guess you could say they're remastered. I don't think that's what they ever toted, but that's something that is very interesting. So here's the case. And what's cool about the case itself is it's actually reversible. And that's actually what you get on the reversed side. So I hope you can see that. It might be a little shiny, I don't know. But there's some really nice art on the inside. And actually throughout each one of those like wallpapers while playing the game, they have a nice little, wallpaper that's, it's nice. I think you'll see it. I'm going to actually put everything, I'm going to be streaming, or not streaming, but putting everything up here in the corner so that you can actually see exactly what I'm talking about. Overall, it was great. Secret of Mana, I've always had one problem with it, and I don't know if a lot of people have noticed this, but this is something that I have noticed since the beginning of time with this particular game, is when you first start up the game and you're going through selecting character names, which, by the way, his name is Randy, and the other person's name, I cannot remember. The girl's name, I don't remember. I know. But on the original Final Fantasy Adventures, it's actually Sumo for the main character, boy's name, and Fuji for the female character's name, main character's name. And anyways, like I was saying, it kind of lags. The Secret of Mana kind of lags, and even in this emulated version, it lags. It lags when it goes to the, when you're going through the first starting menu. And maybe it's just me, it's just something that I've always noticed. So most of these games are up to 3 players. However, I think that the Final Fantasy Adventure is 1 player, and then the other 2 are up to 3 players. And I can't tell you about Trials of Mana. I've only done 2 players in Secret of Mana, and honestly, it runs great. It does run good. It's still that lag at the very beginning of Secret of Mana, but everything else is fantastic. It's been a blast. It's like nostalgia, and honestly, it's really good. The other 2 games run perfectly like they always have, in my opinion. And, like I said, these are the original 3, and they did a fantastic job. And if you're a fan of JRPGs, this is something to go ahead and grab. But it's not a JRPG, it's an adventure RPG, an action-adventure RPG, very similar to that of Zelda, where you're actually attacking. The only thing that's kind of different than Zelda is the equipping different weapons through an equipment screen, as well as you have EXP, which would be your experience points, as well as you have stamina. When you attack, if you have full stamina and you hit your attack button, you actually will do a special attack, whereas in Zelda, it's not really like that. You attack at full strength unless you do like a special charge attack. With each one of these, you are set with a stamina bar, and that stamina bar shows how much damage you will do. If you continuously attack, you do 0 damage. But you know what? It works, and it's really good, and I know which direction they were going with this. And honestly, if you are a fan of action RPGs, of JRPGs, and the like, this is fantastic. It is made by Square, so before it was Square Enix, it was Squaresoft, and Squaresoft is the one that put out a vast majority of the Mana series. And there's the main cover. And it's good. It's good. So please tell me if you've played this. Please tell me what you think, and what you hope to see. Put that in the comments below. I'd really appreciate that so we can have a little bit of a conversation. And on top of that, what games would you like to see remastered? Would you like to see any of these remade? I know that The Secret of Mana was remade for the PlayStation 4, and it was, wasn't bad. But anyways, it's in my opinion, it's, how do you grade something that's classic? I mean, I do have my review rewind series, which if you haven't seen, please, I'll put a little thing up here. Take a look at those. They're good games. They're really good games. I'd obviously give this collection a 10 out of 10, but that's just because I'm a little biased when it comes to the Secret of Mana or Mana collection. Anyways, thank you so much for stopping by 123 Geek, but don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to hit that like button, and don't forget to hit that bell icon so that you can be notified when I put out another video. And please, if you could do me a huge, huge, huge favor for those that have made it to the end here, please share my videos. I really need people to share my videos out there. I'm trying. I feel like I'm failing. Most of you are not going to make it to the end of this video. But anyways, once again, thank you so much for stopping by 123 Geek. Have a fantastic week.